Hi, this is George Yoder, and in this tutorial I'll be covering how to export your data from LinkedIn and then import it into the application. So the first step you want to do is start up the application and go over here to the modules and select the LinkedIn export. That will display this screen here. The next step is we'll open a LinkedIn connection. So this will log you into LinkedIn, enter your username and password, and log you into LinkedIn. And after we do that, we're going to go back to the application. I'm going to make this window a little bit smaller so we can see. We would click on this button here that says request an archive file. What that's going to do is going to go to the your privacy section and actually request a archive of your LinkedIn data and fill in the password for you and then make the request. So if you click on it, since I've already done it, I have a request pending right here, but normally what it will do is it will make this selection here for all your data. It'll click on the send request and then it'll enter your credentials. Now in this case, it's trying to do that, but since I've already done it a few minutes ago, it's not going to be successful. So it's going to say that there's no available data, no active request available at this time. So eventually what will happen is you will get a email from LinkedIn that says your archive file is ready to download. And what you will do then is you will go back to this module, LinkedIn Export. You will open up a connection to LinkedIn and you will click on request the archive file again. What that will do is this button here will be changed from request pending to download. And so when you do the second time and when your archive file is ready, it will actually download your archive file into a folder on your system. Now that my archive file is ready to download, I will go through the next step. So I will open a LinkedIn connection. Again, this will log me into my LinkedIn account. Now, previously we had clicked the request an archive file, and what that did previously was that it actually made the request for the archive file. Now that I've received the email that my archive file is available for download, I will click this again. However, when I click it this time, you will see that it's going to actually download that archive file. So if I click request the archive file, it's downloaded the archive file. There's the zip file, and it's 4/6/2018. So it's downloaded the archive file. I can go in here now and unzip the download file. So if I click here and I go find that archive file, the zip file for the date in question, and it will be 4/6/18. It's this one right here, which matches the one that's down here. So if I select that and say OK, now it will unzip that archive file. Now the next step is to go into import the connections from the file. So if I click on the import connections on the file, I will find the folder here for 4/6/2018, which is this folder right here. Inside this folder are a list of all the files in the archive. The one that I'm interested in is the connections file. So if I click on the connections and I go OK, this is now all of my LinkedIn connections that it just brought from the archive file. It's brought in every single connection that I currently have in my LinkedIn account. Now, you notice that over in the current connections is where all of my current connections reside. So what I want to do is get these ones from the imported ones into my current connections. So the next step is update the current connections. And what this button will do is it will take this import file and it will look for the new files, the new profiles that are not in your current connections, and it will add those new connections into your current connection. So if I click update, it will go through the list. It's also going to log me in just to verify a couple of settings, and then it will update my current connections. And you'll see here that it's adding each one, the new ones that it had found. So we can come back to this window, and if we go to the current connections, and if we scroll to the very bottom, we should see the ones added for today, which is 4/6. So here's one added for 4/6, this one, this one, this one, this one, this one. These right here were the new connections that were added for today. So that's how you get your new connections into from LinkedIn into the application. You go and you go to the LinkedIn export module, you request the archive. When you receive the email that your archive file is ready for download, you go back to this LinkedIn export module, you request the file again, except this time it will actually download the file. As opposed to the very first time that you did it, it actually requested the download. So you have to hit that request archive file twice. Once to request it, and the second time once you receive the email that your archive file is ready. Once you've downloaded that file, you can then extract the zip file. You can import the connections that are in that extracted list of files. Then you can update your current connections from that import file with new connections that are in your file that weren't in your current connections from before. And in my case, I have these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. These 6 new connections now. It brought in from the connections file that were not in my current connections list here from before. Now, what you can do also, if you need to update for any reason any of this information, if any of this information here is missing, for example, this one right here, the LinkedIn industry is missing for this one. There are some instances where it's not able to determine the actual LinkedIn industry. So you can highlight this. You can open up a LinkedIn connection. Once you have a LinkedIn connection opened, you can then actually go into your current connection, and you can request that goes out to that connection and tries to gather the information to update some of this information in here if it's missing. So I'll select this one. I'll say update the connection info, and it will now go out to that person and go to that profile and try to determine some of the information that it's missing and try to load it into your current connection list. And if we click on it now, you'll see that it filled in the staffing and recruiting. The same way with this one. If I highlight this one and I tell it to update the connection info, it'll go out to that profile. It will try to get the information that's missing here, and we'll be able to load it into this particular current connections profile. Now, sometimes it's able to determine the profile, all of the profile information. Sometimes it's not able to determine it for whatever reason. Either it wasn't visible at the time of the connection request, or there could be some any number of reasons. For the most part, it should bring them in. But if it's missing, you can simply highlight a bunch of these and just go update the connections info. Now keep in mind, it takes a little bit of time to update each one of these because it has to go out to the individual profiles and update them. But that's what you would have to do in order to get all of this information complete. That's about it for the extracting and updating information from LinkedIn into the applications. Thanks.